everybody thinks about football season and football in the fall, but I know basketball is a big thing here coming up in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, we have this basketball bash week coming up, and we're going to have dress-up days throughout the week where you dress up like the Decade, you can dress up on Twin Day, Western Day, Spirit Day, and even Futuristic Day. And throughout the week, we're going to have some women VHS basketball games, JV and varsity. And even at the dance, we're going to have a disco duel. And that's where teachers and students are going to be having a dance-off and stuff. And we're going to have pep rallies, which are pretty awesome because, you know, you get to dance and be goofy. And we're also having a Mr. and Miss VHS pageant. And our TV production teacher is actually a former Miss Florida, and she's the one helping out with them at the workshops and stuff. And it's pretty exciting. I can't wait for that week to come up.
Yeah, Kelly Meyer-Henry just started, I think, a week ago here at Vanguard as a new TV production teacher. You're in the TV production class. It's hard to kind of get used to a teacher and all of a sudden in the middle of the year, isn't it?
Yeah, just a little bit. We're getting used to her and her new techniques, though. We're trying to work with her.
All right, now, Kenny, let's talk a little bit about North Marion. You mentioned Sterling. You mentioned some of the other guys that have stepped up. It's a new coaching staff as well, or not completely new. Charlie Johnson, the head coach, he was an assistant under Coach Orndorff last year. Tell me a little bit about Coach Johnson, what he brings to this basketball team, and how he is to play for.
Well, he tries to help us, but it's kind of like difficult being a senior and adjusting to a new coach when you learn something new 3 other years. So it's kind of difficult, but he's doing the best he can.
But I guess it's good that he was an assistant for so long at North Marion, so it's not a new face all of a sudden.
Yeah, so it's good. It's good.
Well, let's take a look at the lineups for tonight's basketball game. We've got the starting lineups for you. We've got the officials, and we're going to talk a little bit about Coach Haley, the head coach at Vanguard, a lot of years. But first, let's take a look at that starting lineup for the North Marion Colts. There's Sterling James, the young man we mentioned, the star on the basketball team. Sterling checks in at 6'5", averaging 14 points, 9 rebounds, and leads the team with 5 blocks. Albert Gary, you may remember him from football season. Heck of a football season it was. Latrell Baker, number 14, averaging 6 points a game. He's one of the young men that Kenny said has stepped up. Taking a look at the other 2 starters, Antron McCullough and Kevin Evans. They round out the starting lineup. Kevin, more of a rebounder, averaging 5 a game, only getting 4 points a game, doing the work down low. But part of the reason this basketball team is off to a 5-9 start is the football team did so well, because this team, the longer the football team plays, the less time the basketball players have to get ready for basketball. They have to make a quicker transition. And Kenny, what was that like? I know the football team lost on a Saturday night. The basketball team started practicing with the football players on Monday, and you guys had to play almost right away. Lost the game to Vanguard. Is it hard to make that transition from football so quickly into basketball?
Yes, so it was hard, but they adjusted quicker than I thought they would from football to basketball, so it was pretty good.
That was a heck of a football run you guys put on, though, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
A lot of fun to be a part of that team.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations, a Final Four appearance by the North Marion football squad. Now let's take a look at the Vanguard Knights starting 5. They'll start off with number 1, the point guard, as Ashley mentioned earlier, probably the number 1 star in this basketball team, Don Johnson, among the starters for Vanguard. There you see the 5'10" senior, averaging 14.3 points, leading the team there, also leading the team with 4.1 assists a game. Mike Coleman and Freddie Riley round out this first 3, both of those young men averaging over 7 points a game. Now the final 2 starters for the Knights. Mike Mills, a 6'3" senior, leads the team in rebounding at 5.4. Also leads the team, he's got 15 blocks on the season, averaging 10.6 points a game. And Matt Williams, a 52% free throw shooter who averages 6 points every night out on the basketball court. And so far, the Knights have won more times than they've lost. 8-6 their record, 8 wins in 14 games. And Ashley, what's the atmosphere like? This basketball, when you think Vanguard, you may think basketball more than football, because Coach Haley has been such a legend here. He's got the great basketball tournament in the Kingdom of the Sun. How big is basketball here at Vanguard High School?
It's actually pretty big. Everyone gets real excited when basketball season comes up because they know that the games are exciting because they're always moving, you know. And football, it's pretty exciting and stuff, but I mean, it's really hard to follow most of the time. And basketball, you're just constant points everywhere. And so it's pretty exciting, and we're always get hyped up when that season comes up.
Very fast, up-tempo pace. Now, I mentioned the coaches. You're going to see in just a moment, we're going to put the coaches up here on the screen, and you're going to see quite a difference in coaching and history between these two head coaches. Now, Charlie Johnson's been an assistant for a long time, but he is in his first year as a head coach at North Marion. He has won 5 games. Jim Haley has been a head coach here at Vanguard for 33 years now, has won 613 games. The man is synonymous with Vanguard basketball. 33 years, over 600 victories. Charlie Johnson, in his first year, 5 wins so far, so a big difference, at least in head coaching experience, but Charlie Johnson has been an assistant for quite some time. I want to take a look now at some of Coach Haley's accomplishments. He has 3 players playing college basketball that we've seen here on the Marion Education Channel: Kerry Majors, Jamal Naylor, and Jordan Carrier. He's also sent 22 former assistant coaches on to other coaching ranks. Over 22 assistant coaches have either been head coaches in high school, assistant or head coaches in college, and 2 have coached in minor league professional basketball. There you see Coach Haley on the right. Charlie Johnson a little obscured by one of the officials, but Coach Haley has done a great job here at Vanguard. Over 600 wins, 8-6 so far this season. Probably his most famous basketball player is Travis Mays. There are a number of pictures here on the wall of former players, both men's and women's, all-state players, all-American players. Travis, one of those all-Americans, played at the University of Texas, also played in the NBA for the Sacramento Kings and Atlanta Hawks, played overseas in Italy, and is
Number 14, Number 24, Antron McCullough. Number 42, Kevin Evans.
lineups. The Knights gathered in midcourt, surrounded by their cheerleaders, and we are just about set to go. North Marion and Vanguard taking on each other for the third time this season. Vanguard has won the first two 69-65 at North Marion in the Brinkley Memorial Tournament, and then 56-50 here during the Kingdom of the Sun. Sterling James will jump center for the Colts. They'll be going left to right to start this basketball game. Switch directions at halftime. The Knights in their white over their blue shorts. Players shaking hands. We are just about set to tip it off. Sterling will be jumping center against 6'5" Freddie Riley. So two 6'5" players going to face off against each other. The officials just about set to toss it up in the air. That is Bob Leahy, and we are underway. Opening tip controlled by Vanguard finally. I think Mike Mills finally gets it ahead to Freddie Riley. Riley to the basket, jump stop, no good. Rebounded, however, by Damian Robinson. Backs it out, that's Don Johnson, the point guard. Moves it around. Matt Williams with the ball down low. Tipped away, knocked out of bounds. Sterling James got a hand on it. Kenny, you said the key for North Marion's work hard and hustle. Did right off the opening tip. Really worked hard to get that loose ball, but didn't quite come away with it. But good effort so far.
Yes, I think so.
Knight set to inbound from the far corner of the court. Down by the North Marion cheerleaders in front of our Marion Education Channel banner. Don Brzezinski. Hands over to Damian Robinson. Into Matt Williams. Loses control, picked up. Shot too strong by Riley, rebounded by the Colts. Albert Gary running back, also the point guard here on the basketball team. Played a little defensive back for a Final Four football squad. Tries to go behind the back, loses it. Don Johnson Chase gives it up. Robinson no good, rebounded by Sterling James. He loses it, almost lost it, got it back. Baker will hand over to Gary. He'll walk it across midcourt. A minute gone by here in a scoreless basketball game between the Colts and the Knights here at Vanguard. Baker over to James. Shuffled his feet. He's a big guy at 6'5", but he is a threat to shoot from the outside. The last time these two teams met, he had 13 points and knocked down 2 3-pointers. Coach Haley looking on from his bench. Got his point guard, Don Johnson, tying his shoes. Ready to go. Not quite got him tied yet, so he hands it back to Damian Robinson. Damian crosses midcourt. Gives it back to his point guard, number 1, wearing the headband. Robinson guarded by Baker. A size mismatch, but Baker almost knocked it away. Johnson kicks it over to Mills. Mills back to Johnson. Man defense being played by North Marion. Vanguard being very patient with the ball on offense. Don Johnson moves over to the left, goes back to the top. Switch defense, Sterling James has got him, goes to Matt Williams in the corner. Now inside to Riley. Back to Johnson, he'll go. Pump fake, get it up in the air, has it stripped. Robinson, no, it was Gary got the stripper, and they're going to call a foul on the floor. Foul's going to be called on Albert Gary, his first. Call it a shooting foul, so Johnson will go to the free throw line. He's got 2 attempts. He's a 69% free throw shooter on the year, and he's the first name on your list there, Ashley, of people to talk about for this basketball team. You mentioned he's Coach Haley's favorite player. He's his ace, really.
Yeah, hard worker.
Knocks down his first one. First points of the night, exactly 2 minutes into tonight's ball game. Johnson sets, knocks down the second one, so an early 2-0 lead for the Knights. Full court pressure being applied by Vanguard. Sterling James with it, guarded by Johnson. Gives it up to Mackey. Mackey in a collision, no whistle, they get it down low. Nice ball movement, but the pump fake. Antron McCullough tried to get his defender in the air. Got called for traveling. Vanguard with a 2-0 lead early on here in tonight's contest. They've won the first 2 games so far this season. Looking to make it a clean sweep, and that's the last thing North Marion wants. Matt Mills with it over on the wing. Mike Mills, I'm sorry. Gets it back to Matt Williams. Now Damian Robinson with the ball. Mike Mills down to Riley. Inside to Matt Williams, caught under the basket. Nice job by Matt Williams to go up, use the glass, and get the bucket and the 4-0 lead. James has trouble getting it in. Finally finds Antron McCullough, gives it back to Sterling. They get it across midcourt. Sterling shuffles it ahead to Evans. Layup, and North Marion has their first points of the night. Nice ball movement. Kenny to get it across midcourt.
Yes, I think so.
Johnson over to Robinson. Now Mills with it. Back to Johnson. Gets a screen from Riley. Jumper from the baseline. Nice shot there by Don Johnson. Sweet touch on the baseline jumper. 6-2. Vanguard with the lead. Early in the first quarter. Pass almost intercepted. Freddie Riley got his hands on it as Albert Gary tried to get the ball ahead to Antron McCullough. Number 3, Sterling James, will inbound from the right side of your screen, and we got a timeout taken by the Vanguard Knights. Coach Haley wants to talk over some things with his players, because the 32nd defended by Robinson. Over to Gary, back to Sterling James at the top. They'll reset the offense as Vanguard's in a man defense. Sterling shoots 3, no good. Johnson goes to the rebound. Nice hustle. Kevin Evans tried to save it. Inbounds, and almost a steal there by Antron McCullough, and it seems like North Marion's got a little more pep in their step, Kenny.
Yes, sir. And that was a good hustle by Antron.
Maybe that's one of the things Coach Johnson went over with him in that timeout. Vanguard sends 2 players to the scorer's table. They'll come in at the next whistle. Mike Mills drops it back to Robinson. Over to Mills. Mike looks at the three-pointer, steps inside the arc. Nice jumper by number 33, Mike Mills, his first points of the night. And an 8-2 lead for the Knights. Sterling James with it, crosses midcourt, guarded by Don Johnson. Trapped on the sideline by Williams and Johnson. Gary with it. Nice layup there by number 10, Albert Gary, his first score of the night. He cuts into the lead, and now a third Vanguard Knight goes to the scorer's table. Coach Haley's going to switch out better than half his team at the next whistle. Penetration by Robinson, blocked by Sterling James. Picked up by Matt Williams, back to Johnson, and they'll back it out. Over to Mills on the right side of your screen, back to Johnson. Enters it to Matt Williams, guarded by Evans. Turnaround jumper. Williams knocks down his second bucket. Nice shot there by him to hit over the 6'4" Kevin Evans. Gary breaks the press, gets it ahead to McCullough. Pump fake, back to Gary, and he's fouled by Robinson. Nice ball movement by the Colts. Kenny, that's the thing to do against the press. Once you get a crack, like Albert did on that inbounds pass, don't wait. Once you get something beat, outrun the defense. Don't let it catch back up. Albert Gary at the free throw line. He'll take 2. Now a couple of Colts waiting at the scorer's table. They'll all check in. 5 new players. 3 for Vanguard, 2 for North Marion will check in after this first free throw. Albert knocks down his first free throw. He's a 64% free throw shooter on the year. Among the players checking in, you just saw number 23, Kelvin Davis. Normally a wide receiver, but sat out most of the football season with an injury. Back on the basketball court and playing well, averaging 8 points. Actually led the team with 17 the last time these two teams met. Second free throw good by Albert Gary. It's a 10-6 game. Mike Coleman shot too strong. Rebounded and fought over and finally corralled and controlled by Albert Gary. The defensive back / running back on the Final Four football team gives back to the wide receiver, Sterling James. Sterling, the star on the basketball squad, in the lane, almost got the acrobatic shot to go. He will get the 2 free throws as the foul is called on number 2, Mike Coleman. .5 senior Sterling James misses the first one. Only a 27% free throw shooter on the year. That's the big chink in his armor. Averages 15 points and 9 rebounds a game, but only hitting about 1 out of every 4 free throws. Hits that second one. First point of the night. Johnson gets it from Coleman, gives it back to Mike Coleman, a sophomore. Kelvin Davis looking to enter it to Matt Williams. Can't find him. Labrente Bracey to Coleman. Now Bracey tries the shot, draws the foul. I believe it's going to be whistled on Montrell Smith. Wait for the official signal. It is indeed. There's the guilty party. Number 1, Montrell Smith draws his first personal. Labrente Bracey, 53% free throw shooter at the line. He'll have 2 shots. His team leads 10-7. 2:21 to go in the first quarter. This is the first one. The 6'4" sophomore averages 2.8 points and 3.9 rebounds per game for the Knights. Second one no good, rebounded by James. Little token full court pressure by Vanguard. James crosses midcourt with it. And they're going to call, I believe, a hand check on number 43, Labrente Bracey. His first foul, third team foul against Vanguard. Kelvin Richardson checking into the basketball game. If you're a regular viewer here on the Marion Education Channel, you might remember that name from our Scholar of the Month segment. Kelvin doesn't start, but does a lot of work on the basketball court, rebounding and diving for loose balls. Right there, almost got a block. They kick it out to Gary from the corner. No good, rebounded by Matt Williams, and they'll push it. Mike Coleman, a bounce pass, almost too much for Johnson to track down. Gives it back to Coleman. Don Johnson from the corner in front of the North Marion cheerleaders will go into the lane and throw it over the top. Kelvin Davis can't hold on. Turnover to the Colts. 1:48 to go, 10-7. Vanguard with the lead. Albert Gary gets it across the timeline. Sterling James tries to go to the basket with it. Loses it, but it's recovered. Kelvin Davis, I believe, was laying on the baseline when he touched that ball, so it's out of bounds to the Colts. Albert Gary gets it inside. Number 32 spins and loses it. Tim Dandy lost the ball out of bounds, defended by Matt Williams. Kenny, North Marion's being a little sloppy right now with the basketball. That can't be good.
No, so it's not at all.
And they just took their point guard out. Albert Gary will take a seat next to Coach Charlie Johnson. Don Johnson on the court, handling the ball. Nice move. Goes up, draws the foul against Sterling James, and gets the basket. Count the basket for Don Johnson, gives him 6, and he'll get a free throw to go with it. First foul of the night on number 3, Sterling James of the Colts. Too strong on the free throw for Johnson. It remains a 12-7 game. Montrell Smith handles it, gets it across midcourt, gives it over to Baker. Back to Smith, guarded by Johnson. One-on-one into the lane. No good, but rebounded by Baker. Goes inside to Sterling James and goes up against 2 defenders. Despite it being partially blocked by Matt Williams, Sterling gets it to fall. Under a minute to go in the first. Matt Williams guarded on the outside by Montrell Smith. They enter it to Kelvin Davis. Back to Williams, over to Coleman. Coleman back to Williams, penetrates, tries to kick it down low. Richardson loses it out of bounds on the baseline. 42.4 to go. 2 players set to check in for North Marion. That is number 42, Kevin Evans, and number 10, Albert Gary. Sitting down, Montrell Smith and Tim Dandy. James is into Baker, back to James. Stolen by Richardson, right to the basket, and blocked by Sterling James. He's got 3 men out ahead. Easy layup for Albert Gary. Nice hustle right there, Kent. I mean, you got to be very happy with the way Sterling handled that.
Yes, that was a very nice block.
Not only the block, but then immediately looked out for it and saw Albert Gary by himself for an easy layup. Don Johnson backs it out. 16 seconds to go. He'll hold for the last shot, as it is a 1-point game now thanks to that last layup by Albert Gary. Johnson signaling his players, give me some room to work. He'll penetrate, kicks it over to Coleman from the corner. Too strong, tipped in. Kelvin Davis had thoughts of getting that back in, but nice body position there by Latrell Baker. He could not get the rebound. And after 8 minutes of play, it is 12-11. A good ball game. Vanguard with the 1-point lead. Kenny, here's your chance to be coach. If you're Charlie Johnson right now, what are you telling the guys? What have you seen in the first quarter that you're happy about? What have you seen in the first quarter you're not happy about?
Well, I see in the first quarter that they got the penetration, but they're just not making the shots, and they just need to take their time and just work hard on defense. And that's about it.
Ashley, there you see Coach Jim Haley talking to his players. Tell me a little bit about Coach Haley. What's he like? Is he a loud coach or what?
I haven't really I haven't really talked to him face to face, but a lot of the students who have talked to me said that he's a good coach, that he makes it easy for them to understand the plays, and he encourages them a lot. So I guess you could say he's a good coach.
A very good coach. As we mentioned, Travis Mays played in the National Basketball Association, and another guy that Coach Haley coached. People sometimes forget that Dante Culpepper was almost as good a basketball player as he was a football player here at Vanguard High School. So he's had some good ones on his teams throughout the years. Sterling James inbounds from right in front of us. Gets it to Baker, who hands over to Sylvester Epps. That's Gary with the ball, guarded by Don Johnson. Gary goes baseline, gets too far under the basket, and gets called for the travel. The ball falls, but called for the travel before the shot as he got a little out of control there going baseline. And it's Vanguard ball with a 1-point lead. Johnson over to Davis. Davis averaging 8 points a night. Passes this one off though to Mills. Back to Davis, looked at the three. He'll go inside, has it stripped. Baker with it ahead to Gary, and Albert's gonna have an easy layup and gives North Marion their first lead at 13-12. Nice play right there. Again, the good defensive effort that you talked about, Kenny. Coleman crosses midcourt with his team trailing for the first time tonight. Kelvin Davis guarded by Epps. Inside, shot put up by Freddie Riley. He gets it to fall and puts Vanguard back on top. Now Riley gets a steal. Coleman with it. He's got numbers, passes off to Johnson. The jumper from the baseline, no good. Rebounded. Evans, almost lazy pass, but nice hustle there by Baker to get it back. Baker's checked from behind by Mike Coleman. Now Baker gets it back in the corner, guarded by Coleman. He'll bring it back up top. Now gives it to James. Sterling goes baseline, kicks it off to Evans. Too strong. Rebounded though by the Colts. Albert Gary can't get it to go, and now Gary gets his hand on it. I believe they're going to call Evans coming over the back. There you see Coach Haley yelling at one of his players, yelling instructions, always demanding the best out of his squad. That foul was indeed on Kevin Evans, his first. Matt Williams checks back in. Kelvin Davis will take a seat for the Knights. Seen his first action of the night, Jarvis Manns, a 6'2 junior, checks in for the Colts. Johnson lets the ball bounce as he signals the play to his offense. 6:05 to go in the half. His team leading by 1. Williams with it on the inside against Smith, has it, almost loses it, gets on the floor, and they're going to call a jump ball. Nice hustle by Williams to avoid the turnover, but the possession arrow favors Vanguard, so he will maintain possession for his team. Mike Coleman, the 5'10" sophomore, ready to check in, or ready to inbounds the ball, I'm sorry. Don Johnson with it, comes into your picture. Pull-up jumper, almost went, didn't go, rattled out. Rebounded by Jarvis Manns. Baker will handle the ball, gets it ahead to Manns. Picked up by Riley, 5-on-5. Almost had his pocket picked by Johnson to Baker. Riley goes baseline, or sorry, not Riley, Manns goes baseline. Jumper too strong by Montrell Smith, rebounded by Mike Mills. Don Johnson takes it in and lays it up and in. 8 points now for him. Full court pressure being applied by Vanguard. And a travel. A turnover to the Knights. Smith will take a seat as Gary comes back in. Albert's the leading scorer for North Marion so far tonight. He's got 8 of their 13. Also coming in, Antron McCullough. Jarvis Manns will take a seat. Damian Robinson in the game for the Knights. Don Johnson sitting down for, I believe, the first time tonight, catching a breather. Coleman will handle the point with Johnson on the bench. Gets a screen from Riley. Switched on defense by Sterling James. Robinson over to Coleman. He'll back it out. Sterling James comes out to defend him. Williams to Robinson. Back to Williams. Coleman with it. Defended by Gary. Mills from the corner. He'll penetrate, take a shot from about 15 feet, rattle it down. Mike Mills, 4th point of the night. Leading rebounder on this Vanguard squad. Also a member of the National Honor Society. Sterling James crosses midcourt, ahead to Evans. The big guy is going to take it straight at Matt Williams, get the blocking call, and count the basket. Kenny, I bet you probably don't see that kind of aggressive take to the basket by the big guy, Kevin Evans, but he looked pretty good right there, didn't he?
Yes, sir.
Got the basket and draws the foul. Actually, they're going to say wave it up. Now the officials are talking about it. The official did say count it. Bob Nelson said count it. The other two officials didn't see him, so they said it should be one shot. Because they did not tell the teams it's only one shot, nobody went after the ball. Confusion play like that, it goes to the possession arrow, which favors the Knights Vanguard basketball. Although the possession arrow should have switched on the tied up ball earlier, so I think they forgot to switch the possession arrow, and they haven't switched it here either. So I think the scorekeeper's a little sleep over there. Jumper knocked down by Freddie Riley. 20-15, Vanguard with the lead. James crosses midcourt, has it taken away by Coleman. And this is Robinson to the basket, and a late whistle. They're going to award him 2 shots, and I believe call Sterling James. Foul is indeed on Sterling, his second. And Kenny, I know you're a little biased because you go to North Marion. These are your teammates, but I was a little late on that whistle, wasn't it?
Yes, sir. I think it was a bad call.
Robinson, his first free throws of the night. He's an 81% shooter. And just as soon as I talk about what a good free throw shooter is, he misses. The Vanguard cheerleaders next to our broadcast position. North Marion cheerleaders yelling, hoping he misses this one as well, which he does, rebounded by Sterling James. Not often do you see an 81% free throw shooter miss 2 at the line, but Damian Robinson just did. James picked up by Robinson, double team, somebody's open. They get it to Baker, back to Sterling James, guarded by Mike Coleman, inside to Evans. Jumper over Matt Williams, won't go, rebounded by Freddie Riley. He'll have to bring it himself, gives it up to Robinson, goes straight to the basket strong against Kevin Evans, lays it in. (22-15), North Marion with the lead. Nice pass by McCullough, the little over-the-shoulder pass sets up Albert Gary for his first double digit, or the first player in double digits tonight. He has 10. Mike Coleman with the ball, he'll back it out. 22-17, his squad, the Vanguard Knights with the lead. Mike Mills with it in the corner. Dribbles up to the top and gives it over to Robinson. Mills with it again. Trying to fake out his defender, that is Antron McCullough. Now Coleman with it, guarded by Albert Gary. Inside to Riley. Riley looks for Robinson cutting baseline. Williams trying to post up. Mills will take a 3-pointer, too strong. Rebounded though by Williams. Finds Robinson under, and a big block. Nice block there, Kenny, by McCullough.
That's a nice block.
Normally you think Sterling's going to get the block, but Antron McCullough got one right there. Gets the block, and he will go take a seat on the bench. Don Johnson checking back in. He's the leading scorer so far tonight for the Knights. Number 1 has 8. Damian Robinson, he's got 2. He'll look to inbounds from the baseline, gets it to Mills. Mike Mills up to Don Johnson. 2.5 minutes to go in the half. Johnson with the ball. Over to Mills, guarded by Sterling James. Robinson guarded tightly by Latrell Baker right here in front of us. Now Don Johnson right at midcourt. Nice play by Johnson. Great play by Don Johnson. He was backed up to midcourt, almost going to get an over and back call. Jumped up, threw it off of Albert Gary, and then wisely let it roll out of bounds. Heads up play there, Kenny, by Vanguard point guard, wasn't it?
Yeah, so Don Johnson's a very smart point guard.
Crosses midcourt, just over 2 minutes to go in the half. Robinson with it, guarded by Baker. Mills guarded by Sterling James. Mills kicks it out to Johnson in the corner. Thought about the three-pointer, now he'll hold on to it. Tries to spin around Albert Gary, gives it back to Mike Mills. Robinson over to Williams. Now Mills from the corner. Nice entry pass to Freddie Riley. Turnaround fadeaway jumper, no good. Rebounded by Sterling. Sterling James, the leading rebounder for North Marion, averaging 9 a night. 1.5 minutes to go in the game, or in the first half. Albert Gary across midcourt. Gets it down eventually to Sterling James, and it is blocked out of bounds. I believe Mills got the last hand on that. He leads the team with 15 blocks, so he is the most likely candidate to have gotten that block. It was either him or Matt Williams. Albert Gary gets it to Sterling James. Defended by two players. A cross-court pass. Three-pointer short. And it goes right off the hand of Don Johnson, and then Sterling James tried to pick it up. Couldn't control it, out of bounds. Vanguard ball, 1:08 to go in the half. Coming up at halftime, we'll hear from the two coaches. We always go visiting coach first, so it'll be Charlie Johnson visiting with us here at halftime. Then we'll hear from David Ellers, the principal at Vanguard High School. Mills kicks it out to Robinson for three. Too strong off the back iron. Rebounded by Gary. He's not going to waste any time now. Slows it up, drops it off to Sterling James. Up and under, can't get it to fall, but draws the foul. He'll go to the line. Foul's going to be on number 33, Mike Mills, his first. Sterling James will take the free throws again. I mentioned, not a good free throw shooter, only 27%, 1 of 2 so far tonight. Averages 15 points a game, but so far only has 3 on the board. Free throw route comes right off. Mills will take a seat, pleads his case to one of the assistant coaches, saying, I didn't foul him. Referee saw it otherwise. Kelvin Davis checks in. There you see him. Sterling shot right through, knocks down his second free throw. He's got 4 on the night. 46.5 seconds to go, and they need to wind the clock. There it goes. Don Johnson crosses midcourt with 41 in the half. 22-18, Vanguard with a 4-point lead. Freddie Riley, sophomore starter, gives it back to Don Johnson. Johnson over to Robinson, guarded by Latrell Baker. Back to Johnson, right up at the top of the jump circle. Riley with it to Johnson, 14 seconds to go. Vanguard holding for one shot. Johnson will penetrate, jump stop, gives it up to Robinson. 7 seconds, he shoots, no good. Tipped up, not good by Matt Williams. Rebounded by Kevin Evans with 2 seconds. He's gonna have to hurry from three-quarter court. Misses it short and to the right. Looking for the miracle shot there at halftime. And at halftime, it is 22-18. Vanguard with the lead. Coach Charlie Johnson will be joining us here momentarily. We'll get his thoughts on the first half as his team trails by 4 after 16 minutes. Coach Johnson joins us now. And Coach, tell me a little bit about the first half. You just didn't start too well, but you came back and early in the second quarter took a lead.
Yes, I'm trying to get the kids settled down a little bit. What they're doing, I'm trying to keep them out of the running game. Let's set up our offense. Let's look down the court on the press. You pass, you can beat a press. When you start dribbling, you give them time to adjust. They're starting to locate each other now. They're moving the ball. The only thing that we need to do right now is stop that penetration in the middle, which we're playing a little bit of a matchup. They're starting to work on it now, and I think the kids are doing a good job.
Keys to the second half, obviously the things you just talked about, but this is North Marion Vanguard. We can expect it to be close. I think 10 points separated you two so far in 2 games this year.
Yes, sir. One time they beat us by 5 points. The second time they beat us by 4 points. It's a great tradition. Both teams love one another. I mean, they're just good kids. They communicate between the two high schools all the time, and they really respect one another. I really love this kind of competition.
All right, Coach, thanks for stopping by. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you very much.
Coach Charlie Johnson, the head coach for the North Marion Colts. His team trails 22-18 after one half of basketball, and we'll be joined here in just a moment by the principal at Vanguard, David Ellers. And Mr. Ellers pulling double duty tonight. He was just over, I believe, at the soccer field for senior night out there, weren't you?
Yeah, we had a great time out with the seniors. We had 12 seniors that were finishing up their soccer career at Vanguard, at least their home career. They've got districts coming up in a couple weeks. Great group of kids.
Tell me a little bit about what's going on at Vanguard High School. Ashley's gone over some of the things, the basketball bash coming up, but there's always something going on here.
Probably the biggest thing we're trying to focus on is reading instruction. We've been having all of our content area teachers really focusing on making sure that reading's happening every day in every class. We also have our lowest readers in 100-minute and 50-minute classes, and our teachers in those classes have just been doing a fantastic job working with our lowest readers, trying to pull their reading ability up.
And I know Ashley Canzolino, one of the TV production students, just got a new teacher. You had to make a change in the middle of the year. Tell me a little bit about your new television production teacher.
Kelly Meyer-Henry's going to do a great job. Obviously, a lot of people in the community probably know Kelly. She was a Miss Florida several years ago, worked in TV production, has her degree in TV production, and has recently just moved back to the area and is going to do a fantastic job for us.
We talked to you about a year ago. I think it was the Westport Vanguard girls game. You had just taken over as principal. Now you've got about a year and a half under your belt or so. How do you like it at Vanguard? What are the things here that maybe surprised you that you didn't expect when you came over?
I think even though I knew walking in that there are a lot of extracurricular activities, I think that's probably the thing that's hardest for a teacher or a principal moving into a high school is there's just an awful lot of stuff. Kids are involved in so many different things, and it's really exciting to go see, and just the energy level and that sort of thing at the high school is just fantastic.
And it's rewarding to see them involved in all those things and still keeping grades up, which is something hard to do.
Yeah, but what we find is the students that are most involved and the ones that do activities and keep busy are the ones that do the best in their grades. It's funny, a lot of students feel with our IB program they can't participate in extracurricular activities, but what we always demonstrate to them when they come out for parent nights, when they're thinking about it, is the fact that our IB students are probably the most involved kids at school. It just goes hand in hand.
You mentioned IB, that's kind of the Vanguard magnet program.
Yes,
International Baccalaureate. Tell me a little bit about that. It's not for somebody that's supposed to coast by. There's a lot of work.
It is a rigorous college preparatory program based on a comprehensive liberal arts program. In some ways, it can be compared to AP classes, but with AP, you get to select the classes that you want to try to excel in, whereas with IB, you have to take a difficult honors AP level class from your freshman year all the way through your senior year in every single subject. Students that graduate with that diploma can get a 100% bright futures and also graduate with a 15 credit hour set of credits for college, so they can actually leave as sophomores.
And that's a pretty good deal. Skip a year of college.
It's wonderful.
All right, Mr. Ellers, thanks for stopping by. Anything else you want to add?
I do want to take 1 minute. We've got a special fan out there, Mike Tokar, who is watching on TV. A lot of people have probably seen Mike at a lot of our basketball, football, and other athletic events. He just had back surgery, so I wanted to just say hello to Mike from everybody at Vanguard, and we wish you well, and we need you back here, buddy.
Hi, Mike. All right, thanks for stopping by.
You.
Mr. Ellers, the principal here at Vanguard High School, and we're about halfway through the halftime activities. I want to take a look now. Mentioned Kelvin Richardson was a former Scholar of the Month. I want to look at the current Scholar of the Month here on the Marion Education Channel.
In the classroom, fourth grader Kirsten Clark is a mild-mannered AB honor roll student. She also volunteers for school activities like working on Bellevue Elementary's TV morning show crew. But don't let the act fool you. There's a reason school officials have named Kirsten their Character of the Month twice already this year.
All right, Kirsten, what do you have for us?
On Christmas Day, I was happy as the elves when they get to make toys.
Good. I've just never seen a kid that just comes in and she's just completely focused on her work all day. I mean, she is here to learn, and that's her sole purpose.
Tomorrow's lunch run, we have sausage and biscuit, juice and milk.
You have to know the timing, when to turn stuff on, and they will point to you when, like, you push the button to get the camera to the other person. Sometimes it's kind of hard because all the school's watching.
8, 9, one more, 10.
When Kirsten puts on her gi, she puts away her disguise, and you see her drive to succeed come out.
You got it. 1, 2, and 3. Good. Come on.
Kirsten practices Taekwondo and not only competes, but excels on the state level. She'll earn her black belt this month, and like something out of a comic book, she specializes in the famous nunchucks, finishing 3rd in weapons competition in last year's state championships.
When you go to tournaments, you can win trophies and stuff, so it's fun.
We basically not only focus on the kicking, punching aspect, we also focus on the discipline, self-esteem, and different values.
And Kirsten shines in showing her discipline, taking 2nd in the state in her form.
It's where you do these movements, and like white belt is the first form, and it has 18 steps, but it gets higher every belt, and there's different stances, and those are kind of hard.
But what about putting her superpowers to good use?
Sparring stance.
No problem. Kirsten ranks 4th in the state in sparring.
It's kind of hard because all the gear and then the timing, and you just try and know when to block and when to kick.
Good. 1 minute, 1 minute.
It's scary at all when you know that other person's trying to knock your block off too?
Sometimes. You just try and have fun and don't think about it.
30 seconds, last 30 seconds. Come on, burn it out.
Kirsten says she wants to one day combine her education and Taekwondo talent into an action film career. And the next step comes this summer when she begins worldwide competition. In the meantime, she'll continue her role as a mild-mannered 9-year-old. To submit a student's name for the Marion Education Channel Scholar of the Month, send an email with their name, school, GPA, and activities they're involved in to scholar@marion.k12.fl.us. All grade levels are welcome.
And we just showed you a Scholar of the Month. It was a young female athlete. I want to mention that coming up later this month, January 24th, the Marion County Girls Weightlifting Championship will be at Bellevue High School, and then on the January 28th, the state Section 4 qualifying lift meet will be also at Bellevue High School, and Coach Reddick Williams down at Bellevue could use some help, use some volunteers with both those events, the January 24th County Championship and the state section qualifier on January 28th, girls weightlifting at Bellevue High School. Under a minute to go in the half. I want to quickly talk to Coach Haley about this. Tell me a little bit about the first half. You happy with what you saw? What do you need to do in the second?
We haven't cut off their inside defensively. We've been set up to take some charges. We haven't taken the charges. The other thing is we haven't got enough steals off our press. We got to light our fire, light our intensity a little bit. We've got some nice scores, but again, what's been killing us all year long is free throws. We missed some free throws in the first half, and when you play North Marion and it's Vanguard North Marion, it's just an intense battle no matter what the level of competition is, and it looks like it's another battle tonight. It's been this way all year long because this is battle number 3 for the Northside Honors.
Yeah, you play each other 3 times a year. There are no surprises. You know those guys, they know you.
They know us, we know them, and it's got a great school rivalry. Both schools are for each other when we're playing other competitions, so hopefully the game will get a lot more intense on our side.
All right, Coach, thanks for stopping by. Get back to work in the second half. Coach Jim Haley, in his 33rd year, the officials tell him he's got a little minute. We'll drag it out for television. The officials want to thank those guys. They're very accommodating to us. If we ask them, hey, look, we got the coach here. Can you give us maybe an extra 10 seconds? Let him get over there. The officials very accommodating on our broadcasts here on the Marion Education Channel. Sterling James and North Marion will get the ball to start the second half. Sterling throws it over his player's head and out of bounds. So it goes right over to Vanguard, a turnover to start the second half. No time even runs off the clock. Kenny, what do you think was said in the locker room by Coach Johnson?
I'm not sure.
Probably a lot of things he wanted to go over.
Yes, sir.
One thing he talked about in the interview just before, or at the end of the first half, was move the ball via the pass, not the dribble. So we'll have to see if they do that. And so far, their first 2 passes have gone over their receivers' heads. They got a stop on defense. Now they get another stop on defense. Kevin Evans gives it up. Albert Gary with the ball. And North Marion has its first possession of the second half. Sterling James goes around Mike Mills, drops it off to Evans. In traffic underneath, can't get his first shot to go, gets his own rebound, fought for, and finally Mike Mills comes away with it. Took too many steps before he put it on the floor. Coach Haley yelling at Mike, you got to give that ball up quicker. So I think Coach Haley, the more he yells at you, the more he likes you, because if you're on the court, he must think you're a good player, and he's very demanding, wants the best out of his basketball players. Sterling James set to inbounds. Gets it over the head. Should have been over and back. That's what the Vanguard coaches are saying. No call by the officials. Gary, no good, but rebound tracked down by Baker. Kevin Evans trying an acrobatic layup. No good. Rebounded by Sterling James. Finally gets it to go. First bucket of the second half goes to the North Marion Colts. Sterling with his 5th and 6th points of the night. Jumper by Freddie Riley, knocks it down. Now Sterling breaks the press, gets it across to Kevin Evans. Sterling James with it in the corner in front of his cheerleaders, guarded by Mike Mills. Spins in the lane, no. Can't get the friendly roll off the rim. Don Johnson crosses midcourt, a 2-on-1 break. Drops it off to Coleman. Coleman goes glass and lays it in. Nice ball movement. His first points of the night. 26-20, Vanguard with the edge. McCullough to Gary, to Evans. Nice ball movement. Kenny, that's what Coach Johnson said. Beat the press by passing, not dribbling.
Yes, sir.
Shot blocked by Sterling James, recovered. Coleman gets it out to Riley. Riley knocks down a jumper. Number 5 has 6. Press, they get it ahead to Evans. It's a 2-on-1 if they hurry. Back to Evans, lays it in. 5.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. 4-point Vanguard lead. They have the ball. Kelvin Davis at the scorer's table. He will check in at the next whistle. Mills gives it to Coleman. Over to Johnson, enters it to Freddie Riley. Guarded by Sterling James. Back to Johnson, to Mills, over to Coleman, inside to Williams. Williams defended by Evans. Coleman goes around his defender and knocks down a jumper as he got by Latrell Baker. Again, Gary breaks the press, goes up too strong, and had not got back in bounds. Albert went out of bounds and hadn't got back in before he touched that basketball, and Coach Haley's going to take a timeout. He wants a 30-second timeout, finally signals to Tom Przinski to give me a 30. Not happy with the way his team's playing. Kenny, I know Coach Haley's unhappy about this, but usually when one coach is unhappy, the other coach is happy, and Coach Johnson's has got to be pretty happy with the way his team's breaking the press. He's doing exactly what he said at halftime. Break the press, passing, not by dribbling. 4:55 in the third quarter, 32-24. North Marion down. Next week, we will be back on the girls' side of things. Westport, 16-2 last time I checked their record, down in the Snake Pit to take on the Lady Rattlers of Bellevue. That'll be next Friday night here on the Marion Education Channel. And of course, all our games are live on Friday night and replayed on Saturday and Sunday. Some good basketball tomorrow. If you're watching it live, if you're watching one of the tape delays, you've missed a great basketball day at Bellevue High School. We'll show you that coming up later in the second half. And a technical foul called as 6 North Marion Colts are on the court. Now the officials talk it over. Coach Haley saying they got 6. That ain't legal. That's a 5-yard penalty in football, illegal substitution. I don't know if they're going to call it. The officials are explaining to Coach Haley that it's not going to be a technical foul. They signaled the player to come on. One official signaled him to come on as the other official was handing the ball to be inbounds. A little confusion, so they'll let it go. Coach Haley gets an explanation, doesn't exactly like it from his body language, but that's how it will go. So North Marion is not penalized. And now they're trying to make sure they get the right players on the court. So we got 5 in Garnet, 5 in White. We're ready to go. Coleman inbounds to Johnson. His team leads by 6. Riley with it. Coleman defended by Baker inside. Ball knocked away from Gracie, recovered. They get it ahead, tried to go all the way down. Kelvin Davis runs out of sight back behind the bench, behind the bleachers. Nice hustle there by Kelvin. Kenny, that was really good hustle there by him because that was going to be an easy layup if he didn't get back and get a hand on that. Now another substitution as North Marion's trying to get the players on the floor they want without getting too many out there. Sterling James inbounds to Evans. Guarded by Bracy, spins. The big man goes inside. The big fella showing some moves. He's got 8. It's a 4-point game. Vanguard with the lead and the ball. Johnson over to Riley. Riley to Coleman to Johnson on the other side. Back to Riley. Brady Riley gives it up to Coleman. Coleman trying to get inside to Bracy. He's guarded by Evans. Evans gets the block. Goes right back to LaBrente Bracy, and he knocks down the jumper. Sterling James in trouble, gives it up to Evans. Evans will break the press, get across midcourt. Gets it over to Albert Gary, he'll settle things down. Jumper by Baker from the corner, no good. 3-pointer, rebounded, put up by Montrell Smith, no good. Rebounded by Sterling James, and I think they're gonna say count it. Count the basket for Sterling. Foul on Mike Coleman, that's his 2nd. James up to 8 points tonight, and he will get his 5th free throw. The bad news, he's only hit 2 of his 4 so far. Misses that one. Nice hustle though, rebounded by Montrell Smith. Gives it up to Sterling James, almost lost it. He'll kick it over to Smith. Smith to Baker for 3, knocks it down. And he has his team within 1 at 32-31. First 3-pointer by either team tonight. Shot put up inside by Don Johnson, no good, rebounded by Evans. Gary, he's got Sterling James cutting to the basket, but could not find a clean passing lane to get it to him. North Marion can take their first lead since early in the 2nd quarter. Smith drives on Munnerlin, kicks it over to Gary in the corner. Baker to Smith for 3, rattles in, back-to-back 3-pointers for North Marion, and they take a 34-32 lead. 2:45 to go in the 3rd quarter. Vanguard looking to respond inside. Munnerlin to Davis. Davis on the floor, picked up by Baker. Baker ahead to Sterling James. We may have our first dunk of the night. We do. The North Marion faithful are on their feet, and Jim Haley wants a timeout. You see him there in the background as Sterling James ran by. And there's one little corner of the stadium behind the North Marion bench. It's North Marion fans, and they are quite happy right now. Kenny, you got to be very happy with the way your team's played for about the last minute and a half.
Yes, I am.
Sterling with a dunk. Your team's hit 2 3-pointers. Really, this is the kind of effort that Coach Johnson has said that he wanted, and what you said early in the game, that it was going to take effort to win this ball game. You got to like what you're seeing right now.
Yes, sir.
36-32. The Colts with a 4-point lead, 2:27 to go, and Right now, I think is where Coach Haley starts to get a little hot under the collar, yelling at his players because they are not playing good basketball right now for Vanguard. You see the North Marion huddle. They lead by 4 thanks to some outstanding play here for the last couple of moments. They break the huddle and come back out on the floor. An inspired basketball team. After that dunk, it really got the team fired up. They have their biggest lead of the night, but still very early, 2:27 to go in the third quarter. Lots of time left. Coleman gives it to Johnson. Johnson says something apparently funny as Mike smiles and chuckles as he heads down court. This is where the senior leadership of a point guard like Don Johnson can take over, settling his team down out on the court. Riley with it to Williams. Williams looking for Johnson. He's open in the corner if they can find him. Coleman picks up his dribble. Now he's in trouble. Johnson almost lets it get in the backcourt, but saves it. Johnson guarded by Gary to Williams. Williams looking for somebody open. Coleman with it. Double team, gets it to Williams. Williams thought about a 3. Riley, now Johnson. Inside to Davis. Davis tries to get it to Williams. Saves it, but it's stolen by North Marion. Albert Gary will slowly walk it across midcourt. 1:33 to go in the third quarter. 4-point lead for the Colts. They have the ball. Looking to avoid the season sweep at the hands of the Vanguard Knights. Ball lost by Gary out of bounds to Vanguard. Mike Mills checks in. Kelvin Davis will take a seat. Johnson brings it across midcourt. Gives it over to Riley. Riley to Mills in the corner against Sterling James. Backs out. Riley to Coleman. Guarded by Baker. Johnson with it, defended by Albert Gary. Looking to enter it to Matt Williams. Instead goes across court to Coleman. Coleman has it poked away. He recovers it. Riley has it. Riley against nobody in the lane. Gets it to go. Nice recovery by Vanguard. Count the basket. The foul is going to be called on Kevin Evans, his second, number 42. Riley gets the bucket, and he will get one free throw. 71% free throw shooter. And this time, because of the confusion last time, one, play this ball. The officials looking at each other, making sure they're all on the same page. Riley knocks down the free throw. He's got 9. He is the high man right now for Vanguard. Ball almost stolen. Mike Mills got a hand on it. Matt Williams knocked it out of bounds. Good effort defensively on the press by the Knights as they turn up the defensive pressure now as they are within 1 at 36-35. James gets it into Evans. Evans defended by Johnson. Wisely gives it up to Latrell Baker. Baker to Smith for 3. No good. Rebounded by 3 and taken away by Don Johnson. Johnson crosses midcourt and gets tied up. Gets the double dribble. Kevin Evans. Good defense there, Kenny, by Kevin Evans. Just enough to make Don Johnson kind of unsure in double dribble. You don't always have to get your hand on the ball. You just mess the other team up and they may make the mistake for you, right?
Yes, sir.
34.1 to go in the third quarter. 36-35, North Marion with the lead and the ball. Sterling James to inbound. Gets it to Latrell Baker. Mike Coleman picks him up as he crosses midcourt. Loses it, out of bounds. Last touch by Coleman. Montrell Smith will inbound. Big guy, Freddie Riley. He's going to have to get it over a 6'5" defender. Does. Gets it to Gary. Gary pulls up, goes glass, no good. Rebounded by Mike Mills. He falls down, but he finds Mike Coleman on the other end of the court. And an easy layup. Good play there by Mills to get it out as he was going down. Still get the ball ahead. Now, 11 seconds to go. Gary over to Sterling James. The three-pointer, no good. Rebounded by Riley. Throws it right back to Evans. Evans goes up. Draws the foul on Mills. Foul's going to be on Mike Mills, his second. Tom Przinski makes that signal. Kevin Evans will go to the free throw line. He's 0 for 1 so far tonight. free throw goes for Kevin Evans. He's got 9. A couple of players, Sterling James and Albert Gary, each with 10. Evans knocks down both free throws. 1 second, midcourt for Coleman. Just misses it. Not sure if he was going to get it off. The official said he did. Did not quite get it to go, and we have a 1-point game with 8 minutes to go. Kenny, you've played in a lot of these North Marion Vanguard games. Would you expect anything less in a game like this?
No, sir.
1 point, 8 minutes to go. Vanguard, keep in mind, has won the first 2 games by a total of 10 points. North Marion looking to avoid the sweep. I mentioned some good basketball coming up tomorrow, Saturday, down in Bellevue. It's the 10th annual Diamondback Challenge. Starts off with Lake Weir against Mount Dora at 9 o'clock. Then every hour and a half, they have a basketball game. And these guys do a great job of keeping on schedule. Unless one of these games goes through a number of overtimes, they will tip off within about 10 minutes of the times you see there. Gainesville at 1:30, that'll be a good game to go watch. 3 o'clock, then we go over to the second half. More of the local teams involved. Gainesville's Eastside High School at 4:30. Bellevue, the host team, at 7:30, and then Vanguard and PK Young from Gainesville at 9 o'clock in the nightcap. So 9 games every hour and a half. You get 9 games for $6. It's a pretty good deal. And some good basketball played at the Rattler Challenge. Coach Haley talks to his squad, gets them ready as they face an uphill battle, but not too uphill, down by only 1 to start the 4th quarter. There you saw number 33, Mike Mills, for Vanguard. He's got 4, he's got 2 fouls. He's their leading rebounder and shot blocker. Number 1, Don Johnson, leading assist man and scorer for the Knights with the ball. He's got 8 tonight. Gets around his man, jump stop blocked by Sterling James. That's at least Sterling's 3rd block tonight. Looks a little bit like your brother Greg blocking shots, Kenny.
Yes, sir.
Montrell Smith, too strong in the layup, rebounded by Evans. Evans can't get it to go. Sterling gets the rebound, lost, and now Gary has it up top. Good effort by North Marion under the basket. Sterling James spins around Mike Mills and count it. Sterling, you see him excited on the floor. Count the basket. The foul is going to be on number 55, Matt Williams. A dozen now for Sterling. Only had 4 at halftime. He's got 8 since then. Make it 9 as he knocks down the free throw. A Baker's dozen for number 3. Mike Coleman to Mike Mills in the corner. Back to Coleman. Johnson had an open look at 3, passed it up, gave it over to Williams. Williams to Riley. He'll take a long jumper, partially blocked, I think. Evans gets the rebound. Albert Gary will bring it up. Coach Haley yelling to his team, play some defense. We're down 4. Gary falls down, gets it to James. A jumper from the baseline, too strong. Rebounded by Baker. No shot. They're going to say he pushed off to get the rebound. An offensive foul as Latrell Baker, a little aggressive, pushed his man in the back to get space for that rebound. Don Johnson spots, or Mike Coleman spots a little wet spot on the floor. He'll mop it up down there. And now Mike will inbounds to Don Johnson. Vanguard has the ball, but they trail by 4, 41-37. Last time these two teams met, Vanguard won 56-50. Don Johnson had 16. Freddie Riley had 6 in that game. He's got 11 right here as he knocks down that one. Sterling James to Baker. Ahead to Smith, under the basket. No, rebounded by Williams. Williams ahead to Don Johnson. Albert Gary back on defense. Nice move by Johnson. 10 for him. And we have a tie game, 41-41. James gets the inbounds pass. Pressure defensively, almost over and back. Gets it to Baker. Baker, Gary in the corner. Albert goes baseline, up and over Matt Williams, no good, rebounded by Sterling James. Turns around. Foul's going to be called on Matt Williams. 2 shots upcoming for Sterling. Sterling looks over and points at my broadcast partner, Kenny Clark. Kevin Evans will mop up a wet spot on the floor. Sterling James will go to the free throw line. He's got 2. He's 3 for 6 tonight. 41-41 game right now. 6:05 to go. Pretty much what you would expect out of a Vanguard North Marion basketball game. Sterling knocks down the first one, give him 14. 1 short of his per game average of 15. He had 13 the last time these two teams met. Knocks down the second one, some improved free throw shooting for the 27% shooter. He's got 15 and a 2-point lead for the Colts. Williams, an open 3. Knocks it down. They left the big guy open, and he made him pay. Puts his team up by 1. Full court press after a made basket. Vanguard applying the defense. It goes through Smith's hands, picked up by Riley. Freddie Riley's going to take it the distance himself. Drops it off to Johnson under the basket, and a hard foul. Good foul, but a hard foul there by Montrell Smith. It's going to be 2 shots for Don Johnson. And a timeout taken by North Marion. Coach Charlie Johnson wants to talk some things over for about 30 seconds. This is the second installment of the Marion Education Channel's high school basketball game of the week. We've got 3 more on tap for you. The ladies will be back in action as Westport travels to Bellevue next Friday night. And we got 2 boys games to round things out. Forest and Lake Weir. Get a chance to see Ricardo Lewis, a very good basketball player for Lake Weir. And we will see the new coach at Forest High School, came over from Dunellen, Coach Powell. And Vanguard wraps things up, taking on Bellevue in the finale on February 3rd. 44-43. Vanguard with the lead here. Don Johnson will look to extend it with 2 free throws, 5:39 to go in the ball game. And Ashley, this is pretty much what we expected, a big crowd and an exciting basketball game here. And you can feel the atmosphere. This is probably the best game as far as atmosphere in the county every year, and you can feel it as both teams and the fans are really into it tonight.
Oh my God, we're so excited. We got cheerleaders going crazy. We got the crowd going insane. Even I'm flipping out over here.
5:39 to go. Johnson's got 2 free throws. He is 2 for 3 on the night at the stripe. Too strong on that one off the back iron. Nobody in any serious foul trouble. Got, looks like 5 players on the 2 teams with a pair of personals. Johnson knocks down the second one, give him 11. And a pair of substitutions for North Marion. Checking in our number 12, Charlvester Epps, and number 24, Antron McCullough. Evans and Smith take a seat. Oh, finds an open man the length of the court. It's Albert Gary. He saves it from going out of bounds. Tries to get it underneath McCullough, and it's stolen by Riley. Taken away, Gary finds McCullough under the basket, gets it in. A frantic play down under the basket. North Marion comes away with the points and ties the game. McCullough's first points of the night. Mike Mills for 3 from the corner, no good. Rebounded by Albert Gary. Gets it ahead to Baker. Baker goes around Coleman, pulls up, and got up in the air, couldn't make up his mind. You see the frustration on his part as he gets called for traveling. Kenny, it looked like he went up in the air and wanted to pass, and once he got up there, realized there was nobody to pass to, and at that point, he was just caught. Mike Mills gives it over to Don Johnson. 4:56 to go, tie ball game, 45 all. You see Johnson, the senior point guard, directing traffic. He's got a jumper from just inside the arc, too short. Saved by Mike Mills. Nice hustle by Vanguard. Matt Williams gets the layup. Sterling James let that ball go. Thought it was going to go out of bounds, and Mike Mills with an incredible hustle play came around him, saved it into Matt Williams. Sterling never knew what was happening. Matt Williams got an easy layup. Shot no good by Albert Gary. Gets his own rebound, and he goes up, gets fouled. And we have our first player with 3 personals. Matt Williams gets whistled for that. That is 3 on him. 2 shots upcoming for Albert Gary. He's 2 for 2 tonight at the stripe. Kenny, looked like Sterling just kind of got lazy down there on the other end and was taken advantage of. Gary misses the first one. He's got 10 tonight, all in the first half, though. He led North Marion with 18 when these two teams met back in the Kingdom of the Sun. Second one falls for him. Substitution for Vanguard. Checking in is number 10, Damian Robinson. First time we've seen him on the court in a while. Matt Williams will take a seat after he gets a drink of water. Johnson with the ball. Backs things out. His team has a 1-point lead with 4:15 to go. Gives it over to Coleman. Loose man-to-man defense. Now Baker comes out to play a little closer to him. Goes around a screen from Freddie Riley. The shot's no good. Rebounded by Albert Gary as he crosses midcourt. Gets a screen, goes baseline against Mills. Blocked. Mills with his second block of the night. Gary loses it, picked up by Riley. Nice quick defensive hands there by Baker to break up a fast break. Luttrell got a hand on it. It stays Vanguard ball, but Kenny, that's a good play. Even though he didn't get the steal, he slowed things down. That gives the rest of his team a chance to get back on defense. Don Johnson crosses midcourt, 3:43 to go. Charlie Johnson, you saw him, the first-year coach at North Marion. Looking to avoid the sweep at the hands of the 33-year head coach at Vanguard, Jim Haley. Three-pointer no good by Don Johnson. Baker in trouble, gets it back to Epps, who hands it back to Albert Gary. Johnson meets him at midcourt. 3:19 to go, 1-point lead for Vanguard. The Colts with the ball. Albert Gary guarded by Mike Mills on the defensive switch. Finds Sterling James underneath, misses and rebounded by Riley. Sterling never really got control of it, and they're going to call a foul, I believe, on Antron McCullough trying to get the steal. Sterling hanging his head, had the ball under the basket, just never really got good control of it. I believe they did call that foul on number 24, Antron McCullough. That would be his first. Don Johnson with the ball. He crosses midcourt right at the 3-minute mark. 47-46. Vanguard with the ball in the 1-point lead. Folks, this is why for 3 years we've done this game. It is always a good game, and now a foul called as McCullough went for the steal. Coach Haley yelling, and one of his assistants yelling some instructions to his players before the inbounds. A couple of substitutions for North Marion. Kevin Evans and Montrell Smith check in. Antron McCullough and Albert Gary check out. Coach Johnson doesn't want to keep Albert on the bench too long. He's got 11 tonight. He's his second leading scorer. Evans has 10. Sterling has 15. Johnson crosses midcourt, guarded by Epps. Gives it over to Riley. A deep three by Freddie. Riley won't go, rebounded by Evans. That would have been a big three had it fallen. Baker with it, guarded tightly by Coleman. Full court pressure. Johnson comes in from the back, tried to get the steal, and now Epps with it. Lobs it to Smith. He's got an open lane to the basket, cut off there, and stolen. No, it's picked up by Evans. Misses, gets his own rebound, misses. Rebounded by Baker, over to Sterling James, goes glass, and North Marion takes the 48-47 lead. 17 tonight for Sterling James. 2:04 to go. Don Johnson behind his back, over to Mike Coleman. He'll penetrate, kick it out, and it's stolen. And a foul. I believe they're going to say Johnson grabbed to try and prevent the fast break. Actually a smart foul there because it was going to be a run out for North Marion. I believe they called it instead on Mike Coleman. That would be his third personal. The officials thought, one official that called the foul pointed to the baseline. That's where it's going to be inbound. The other officials thought he pointed saying it was going to be Vanguard ball. Albert Gary doesn't spend long on the bench. He's back in. Epps takes a seat. Haley yelling to his defense. James looking to get it inbounds, gets it to Baker. Baker over to Evans, the big man handling the ball to Sterling James, guarded by Robinson. Gets it across midcourt to Baker. Over to Evans. Evans loses it. Coleman picks it up. And he's fouled by Albert Gary. Evans unhappy with himself. One of his teammates was saying, back it out. Albert Gary's telling him right now, you got to back that out. You're the big guy. We've got the lead. Let's run some clock. Coach Haley talking to one of the officials. I think he wanted an intentional foul there. Always working the referees. Johnson with the ball, 1:40 to go, they trail by 1. Mike Mills with it in the corner, back to Don Johnson. Guarded loosely by Albert Gary. To Mills, guarded by Sterling James. Two-man game at this point, Johnson and Mills. Johnson spins in the lane, too strong, rebounded by Smith. Smith brings it out, gets it ahead to Gary. Gary lays it up and in, and a three-point lead with 1:18 to go. Albert Gary lays it up. 13, a baker's dozen for him. Mike Mills down 3 is Vanguard. He gives it back to Coleman, over to Johnson. 1:03 to go. They don't need a 3 right now. They've got plenty of time. They need a basket though. Riley to Johnson, thought about the 3, penetrates, kicks it back. Baseline, layup, and good by Damian Robinson, his 4th. It's a 1-point game, under 50 seconds to go. Baker to Sterling James. Full court pressure being applied by Vanguard. He crosses midcourt, 41 seconds. Coleman playing tight defense. Almost stolen by Robinson, and a timeout taken by North Marion. Kenny, right there, Sterling almost got in trouble. He did not see a defender coming from the backside for the steal. North Marion's gonna have to be very, very careful with the basketball right now, aren't they?
Yeah, the point guards need to go get the basketball from Sterling.
And that would be you if you were playing. So it's going to be Albert Gary who's really handling the point in your absence. Albert's had a really good game tonight, hasn't he?
Yes, sir.
Timeout taken by North Marion. They lead by 1. They have the ball with 35.5 seconds to go. 50-49, looking to avoid the sweep. They've lost the first 2 games this year to Vanguard. There you see the situation. 50-49, 35.5 seconds to go. Coach Taylor talking to his squad, telling them we've got to play defense. Get the steal. If we can't get the steal, at some point they're going to have to foul. The guys they want to send to the line, normally I would say Sterling James, only a 27% free throw shooter, but tonight he has hit 5 of 8, so you may not want to put him on the line. Kevin Evans, only a 55% shooter, but he's hit 2 of 3. Got to be smart, pick the right guy to put on the line that's going to miss. Sterling James will inbounds from in front of his own bench. Inbounds into the backcourt to Montrell Smith. Guarded by Mike Mills. Gets it ahead to Sterling James. Underneath, Baker gets it out to Gary. Gary goes baseline, lays it up and in. A 3-point lead with 25 seconds to go. Johnson with the ball. Over to Mills. Kelvin Davis to Johnson, almost had an open look. Coleman will take the 3 to tie. Too strong. Mike Mills tracks it down with 10 seconds to go. Don Johnson to Coleman. Coleman for 3. He hits it. 4 seconds to go. He hits the 3. North Marion with the chance. They can't get the shot off. And we are going to overtime. A big 3-pointer there. Coleman knocked it down. We had a collision there on the floor. Damian Robinson and Kelvin Davis playing defense. North Marion had a shot. They got the ball, had a shot to put it up. Nice hustle defense there by Davis and Robinson, but they collided, and that is Kelvin Davis being looked at. I think he took a knee to the forehead. Not sure. They're checking over. The trainer's looking in on him. But Kenny, what a finish. Albert Gary gets the layup. Vanguard got the 3-pointer, missed it, got it over, and Coleman tied this ball game at 52. A great finish to this ball game so far.
Yes, sir.
9 points for Mike Coleman. 52-52. And for the first time on the Marion Education Channel's basketball game of the week, we've got overtime. Kelvin Davis being helped to his feet. Being guided off the court. They'll come clean up some of the sweat on the floor. And we're going to have some free basketball. You got to see a little extra at the start of tonight's broadcast as the junior varsity game ran long. You're going to get to see a little extra basketball as the varsity game goes to overtime. 52-52. 4 more minutes of basketball put on the clock. Coming up next week, maybe we'll have a game as good as this, maybe we'll have one better, but this is going to be hard to top. The girls take over center stage as the Westport girls, very good year there, having very up-tempo basketball team visits Bellevue. Vanguard fans getting into it, the cheerleaders helping getting them excited. 52-52, 4 minutes of overtime upcoming. Possession arrow says the overtime will start. Actually, it'll be a jump ball in overtime. Possession arrow will switch. Teams trying to make sure they're headed the right direction. It'll be Sterling James and Freddie Riley to jump it up. 2 6'5" players. Bob Leahy talking to the players, saying, ready, everybody, let's play 4 more minutes. Picked up, controlled by North Marion. Kevin Evans ahead to Albert Gary, goes up and in. Albert Gary, 17 on the night. Almost triple his 6 per game average. Don Johnson has an open lane, takes it strong, and gets it to go. What a shot. Don Johnson underneath the reversal and draws the foul. That foul is called on Sterling James, his 3rd. Really no foul trouble so far for either team. 13 for the point guard for Vanguard. He averages 14.3. He's hit 3 out of 5 at the stripe tonight. Johnson's ditched the headband he wore for most of the game. Kelvin Davis taken back to the trainer's room, yet to return after that collision at the end of regulation. Ed McPadden, the baseball coach and athletic director, wiping up the spot on the floor where Johnson went down after that acrobatic basket, trying to get 3 points the hard way. Tied at 54, he looks to put his team in front. One shot for Johnson, a 69% free throw shooter. North Marion fans cheering, trying to make him miss. Gets the friendly shooter's roll. 14 and a timeout taken by the Knights. This is exactly what we expected out of this basketball game. A full timeout taken by Coach Jim Haley. Kenny, in overtime, do you change the way you play it, or do you just keep playing like you played for the first 32 minutes?
I would keep playing the way I played the first 32 minutes.
For the North Marion Colts, they are down 55-54. They rallied. You see Coach Haley and his assistants drawing up plays for his squad. Now we look at the North Marion huddle. North Marion has battled from behind for most of this game. Vanguard ran out early to start the second quarter. North Marion took a little bit of a lead. Vanguard took it back. And then in the late third quarter, early fourth quarter, North Marion regained the lead. And we went back and forth from there to where we are now. 16 seconds into overtime, 55-54. Vanguard with the lead. And Ashley's knocking on wood. She's very superstitious over here.
I don't want to lose.
Vanguard looking to sweep North Marion for the first time in a while with this 3 games that they play. Seems neither team has ever been able to quite get the sweep. They always go back and forth. North Marion trying to avoid that fate tonight. Sterling James will inbound. Full court defense being played. A 1-2-2 zone being played for the first time tonight by the Knights. Sterling James now matched up man-to-man. Gets in trouble on the sideline, and timeout frantically signaled by the assistant coaches. Tom Brzezinski checking with the coaches. Asking about the timeout situation. Timeout taken by the North Marion bench. Tom Brzezinski signals that it is a full timeout. The cheerleaders over here to our left getting a little into the game. 55-54, 3:31 to go in overtime. Matt Williams, Don Johnson, Damian Robinson, Freddie Riley, and Mike Coleman on the floor for Vanguard. There you see the North Marion huddle. High scores so far: 17 for Sterling James, 17 for Albert Gary, 10 for Kevin Evans. Over on the Vanguard side, 14 for Don Johnson, 11 for Freddie Riley, and 9 each for Coleman and Matt Williams. Coleman had 3 big ones, though, to tie this game at the end of regulation. Albert Gary with the ball, guarded by Johnson. 3.5 minutes to go in overtime. Entry pass to Sterling James. Fights against a double team, lost out of bounds by Albert Gary. He says it was knocked away from me. He's not happy about the call. But the officials have the last decision, and they give it to Vanguard. Knights with the 1-point lead. 3:12 to go in overtime. Don Johnson slowly backs out. Ashley keeps knocking on the desk here. Johnson guarded by Gary. 3 minutes left in overtime. Over to Matt Williams. Penetrates, lays it up with the left hand. Too strong, follow goes. Freddie Riley lays it in, 13 for him. Albert Gary gets ahead, goes glass, lays it in himself, and it's back to a 1-point game. Nice hustle there by Gary to get down court. Coleman backs it out, guarded by Baker, right in front of the Vanguard bench. There's it to Riley. He's having a good game tonight. Don Johnson with it. Albert Gary loosely defending him. Goes around a screen, switch to Sterling James. Kicks it over to Williams. Williams goes glass and knocks it down. 11 from Matt Williams, a 6'3" senior. 2:17 to go, 3-point. Vanguard lead. Evans has it. He'll take it to the basket. Strong and get called for the charge. Matt Williams draws the charge on defense. 3 persons now on Kevin Evans. It's not so much the foul as it is the change of possession. Don Johnson talks to one of the officials, says there's a wet spot on the floor from where my guy took a dive, taking the charge. They'll dry it up. Matt Williams got the layup on one end and drew the offensive foul on the other. He has 11 points on the night. Jim Haley talking to his defense, or actually his offense. Look out who had the ball right now. 59-56. Vanguard has the ball. 2:10 in overtime, and the 3-point lead. Don Johnson slowly walks it up. Met at midcourt by Albert Gary. Johnson cannot shake Albert Gary. Gets it over to Robinson, back to Johnson. Gary comes out tight on the defense. Gives it to Williams, guarded by Sterling James on the elbow. Inside to Riley. He turns and shoots. Can't get it to go. Rebounded by McCullough to James. Sterling wisely looks ahead, sees 4 white jerseys and slows things down. Albert Gary now, 1.5 minutes to go in overtime. The Colts trail by 3. Sterling James into the paint. The right-handed floater goes. Sterling with 19. A 1-point game. Robinson crosses midcourt with the ball. Gives it back to Coleman. Coleman guarded by Baker. Gets away from Baker, gives it over to Williams. Robinson with it in the corner, back to Williams. Williams kicks it out to Johnson, and he slowly backs it out. Says, guys, we got the lead, we got time on the clock. Let's burn it off. Coleman gets around Baker, now backs back out. Coach Haley saying, come somebody help him with the ball. Almost thrown away. Robinson gets it back, gets it to Coleman. Guarded by Smith. Now Baker's on him. Vanguard content to just burn clock. Johnson with the ball. Gary and Baker on him. They're just going to try and milk as much time off as they can. Coleman. Gary. And Albert Gary goes over and fouls him. They have to do that. Kenny, at this point, Vanguard's just going to sit there and run the clock, so you guys are going to have to go if they can't get the steal, force the foul, and try and do something on the line. Foul on Albert Gary. An intentional foul, but not a flagrant foul. It's actually called an intentional foul, but unintentional intentional is the official ruling. 1-and-1 is missed, the front end by Mike Coleman, so the strategy pays off. Blocked by Riley. Timeout by Sterling James. He grabbed the loose ball, left into foul into out-of-bounds territory. Signal for the timeout. Charlie Johnson wants a full one. Great play there by both teams, Kenny. Freddie Riley got down and blocked the shot, but great hustle by Sterling James to save that ball and presence to call the timeout as he went out of bounds.
Quick thinking.
All right, you get a chance to play coach right here. Your team's down a point. You have the ball with 25 seconds to go. What do you tell your team? What kind of play do you draw up?
Run the clock down and get it to Sterling in the post.
Get it to Sterling in the post for one last shot to win the ball game. We'll see if that's what they decide to do. The cheerleaders trying to get the crowd into it. Reset the situation. 25.2 seconds to go in overtime. Vanguard leads 59-58, but North Marion has the ball. Kenny Carr mentioned Sterling James. Run the clock down, get the ball to him inside. He has 19 tonight, 15 of them in the second half. Did not have a good first half. He's come on strong in the second half and overtime. Both teams break their huddles. It'll be Sterling James to inbound from the baseline. Looks underneath and almost gets it on the quick pass underneath. Knocked away by Don Johnson. Tried the easy bucket to Albert Gary. So North Marion will reset. 1 second runs off the clock. We've got 24.2 left. Now they inbounds it to James, not by James. He gives it back to Albert Gary. Albert Gary to Sterling James. Back to Gary. Two-man game. James guarded by Williams. Spins, goes baseline, too strong. Rebounded by Johnson, and he's fouled. They're going to call the foul on Albert Gary. Sterling James tried to go to his left, spin to his left, and go glass on the baseline. It wouldn't fall. And with 9.6 seconds left, I believe it's Johnson will go to the free throw line for 2 shots because we now are in the double bonus. That is the 10th team foul. Johnson has hit 4 of 6. He'll get 2 more. He's got 14, right at his 14.3 average. But, Kenny, you can't be too disappointed because even if he hits both of these, it's only a 3-point game and still time to tie for North Marion. 9.6 seconds. Johnson's the only guy down there. Misses the first one, a big miss. He walks away, frustrated with himself. 69% shooter, 4 of 7 tonight. 4 North Marion players under the basket to rebound. All the Vanguard players are back on defense. Johnson taking his sweet time. Sets, shoots, misses, and commits the foul, actually knocked it out of bounds. It'll be North Marion ball. Timeout taken by Vanguard. Haley wants a full timeout to set his defense, and big misses there, Kenny. That's got to give a lot of hope to North Marion. If he makes both of those, the best North Marion could do would be to tie the game. Now, they just need a bucket to win. What does that do for the team's confidence?
It should build it up, and I think they're going to give it back to Sterling again.
Well, he is their star. He's got 19. Albert Gary, though, stepping up with a big night. Kenny mentioned before the game somebody was going to have to step up because Kenny was supposed to be the point guard. He's not there, so Albert Gary was going to have to step up and run the point. He's done a good job of it tonight. He's also scored a lot. He's got 19 points.
And you also should look out for Kevin Evans, who just checked in.
Evans has 10 tonight. Don't expect him to be taking very many outside shots, but if the defense worries too much about the outside shot, the big 6'4" guy will be open under the basket. 9.6 to go, 59-58, Vanguard with the lead, but North Marion will have the ball. Sterling James will inbound from the baseline. Charlie Johnson looking for his first win over Vanguard in his first season as head coach at North Marion. James into Baker. Baker to Smith. Crosses midcourt with 6 seconds to go, and they call timeout to set up their offense. This will allow North Marion to inbounds the ball in the front court, possibly directly to a play. They signal, give us the full timeout. Charlie Johnson talking to his squad, trying to draw up another play. Kenny, you said run it down, give it to Sterling. That's what they did. They didn't run it down, but they got it to James. He went baseline and took the shot. He is your best player. He is the guy you want the ball in his hands. But the way Albert Gary's playing tonight, do you think maybe, let's see. Vanguard's going to guard Sterling. Let's give it to Albert because he's got a good night guard. Do you think maybe that's what North Marion might try?
Yes, sir.
19 points on the night by Albert Gary, 19 also by Sterling James. 3-pointers by Montrell Smith and Latrell Baker. 5.2 seconds left in overtime. 59-58, Vanguard with the lead. North Marion will inbound the ball in the front court. Ashley's going to wear a hole in our table here, knocking on wood, hoping her Vanguard squad pulls out the win. There you see Kelvin Davis got a bandage on the forehead from the collision, but he has rejoined his squad on the bench. James to inbound.
Watch Kevin Evans.
Gets it to Gary. Gary to Baker, underneath to James. James spins, gets the shot up, and count it! He wins the game at the buzzer! Sterling James goes glass, knocks it down at the buzzer, and Vanguard falls 60-59. Kenny, go celebrate with your teammates. He's hobbling on crutches to get out there with his teammates. Sterling James out of control, got the ball, spun, got it to go off the glass and fall. And North Marion pulls off the win, 60-59. Ashley, I know you didn't get the outcome you wanted, but what a game.
That was an exciting game. Oh my gosh. I went crazy.
There you see the North Marion fans and players celebrating. Our broadcast partner, Kenny Carr's over there. He jumped up, grabbed his crutches, and hobbled over to celebrate with his teammates. A great victory, 60-59. Hands down, the best game we have had in 2.5 years of basketball here on the Marion Education Channel. And that is why, for all 3 years, we have done the Vanguard North Marion boys basketball game, because this is what it's like every year. 60-59, the final score. I want to tell you about next week. May be just as good.